Most people believe aging just happens, slowly, naturally, out of their control. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Something inside your body may be quietly accelerating that process, and you probably never felt it coming. Not your joints, not your muscles, your gut. And what science is now revealing about this hidden biological program should make anyone over 50 stop and rethink how they're aging. Because this isn't just about digestion, it's about signals. Signals that influence inflammation, repair, and yes, long-term disease risk. Researchers are uncovering how an aging gut can activate pathways that shape how fast your body declines, how well you preserve strength after 50, and whether your health span expands or slowly contracts. The question isn't if this is happening, it's whether you're doing anything to change the message your body is receiving. And here's where things get interesting. What if aging well isn't about fighting time, but about reprogramming the environment inside you? What if small, evidence-based decisions could shift this hidden program toward resilience, mobility, balance, and independence? Stay with me, because understanding this connection may completely change how you think about longevity. Remember, your goal isn't youth, it's independence. Most people think of the gut as a simple digestion machine. Eat, absorb, move on. But as you age, the gut quietly becomes something else entirely. A control center for longevity and health span. An aging gut influences inflammation, immunity, energy levels, and even how well you maintain strength after 50. When digestion feels mostly fine, people assume everything's working. And that's the trap. Aging well isn't just about what you see or feel immediately. It's about what's silently shaping your quality of life underneath. One of the first signs of an aging gut is a microbiome that loses diversity. Over time, beneficial bacteria decline, especially if diet becomes repetitive, fiber intake drops, or stress stays high. This matters because microbial diversity supports mobility, balance, and functional fitness by regulating inflammation and nutrient absorption. Think of it like a team losing key players. Performance drops even if the game continues. A simple example? Someone eating the same healthy foods every day, but avoiding beans, oats, berries, or vegetables because they seem inconvenient. Then there's the issue of intestinal permeability, often called leaky gut. As the gut barrier weakens with age, unwanted particles slip into circulation, triggering low-grade chronic inflammation. This isn't dramatic or obvious. It feels like stiffness that won't go away, slower recovery, or a subtle drop in independence. The immune system stays on alert, draining energy meant for repair and healthy aging. That's why evidence-based health today looks beyond symptoms and focuses on how internal systems age together. When you connect these dots, microbiome imbalance, a weakened barrier, and persistent inflammation, you start to see why the gut affects far more than digestion. It quietly shapes how resilient your body remains over time. And here's the part most people don't realize. This internal environment doesn't just influence comfort or energy. It may activate deeper biological programs tied to disease risk. That's where things shift from digestive health into something much bigger and much more consequential. Here's where the conversation gets uncomfortable and necessary. An aging gut doesn't just weaken. It can activate what scientists describe as a hidden biological program. As intestinal cells age, they begin releasing inflammatory molecules and growth signals meant for short-term repair, but harmful when chronically active. Over time, this creates an internal environment that quietly favors dysfunction. This isn't fear-based speculation. It's evidence-based health, explaining why aging well depends on what's happening inside long before symptoms appear. What changes everything is this. Cancer risk isn't driven only by genetics. Biology responds to environment. A gut shaped by chronic inflammation, poor microbial diversity, and constant stress signals becomes fertile ground for abnormal cell behavior. Think of it less as something going wrong and more as conditions being allowed to persist. This reframes longevity and health span entirely. It's no longer about luck. It's about whether the internal terrain supports healthy aging or quietly undermines it. The empowering part? This hidden program is not permanent. Research shows it responds to daily inputs: what you eat, how you move, how you sleep, and how you manage stress. That's why people of the same age can have vastly different levels of mobility, balance, functional fitness, and independence. The gut is listening constantly, and the signals it receives can either amplify inflammation or support repair, resilience, and quality of life over time. This is where strategy replaces fear. Science consistently points to 6 pillars that help shift the gut-internal environment: a fiber-rich diet, fermented foods and probiotics, reducing ultra-processed foods and sugar, managing stress, regular physical activity, and high-quality sleep. These aren't trends or hacks, they're levers. Each one influences how that hidden program behaves, and when combined, they create the foundation for how to age better, with strength after 50, preserved mobility, and long-term independence. The first lever is also the most underestimated: fiber. Not as a trend, not as a supplement shortcut, but as a daily signal to the gut that it's safe to repair and regulate. Fiber feeds beneficial bacteria, increases microbial diversity, and helps reduce chronic inflammation, a cornerstone of healthy aging. For longevity and health span, this isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Simple examples include oats, lentils, chickpeas, berries, flaxseed, and vegetables you actually enjoy eating. The second lever builds on the first: fermented foods and probiotics. Fermented foods like yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, or miso introduce beneficial microbes that support gut balance. This isn't about chasing exotic strains or expensive products. Evidence-based health favors simplicity. One serving a day is enough to send a powerful signal. Think of it as inviting helpful guests back into a house that's been too quiet for too long. The third lever requires subtraction, not addition: reducing ultra-processed foods and excess sugar. These foods disrupt microbial balance and amplify inflammation, especially as the gut ages. No one needs to be perfect here. Replacing packaged snacks with fruit, nuts, or yogurt already shifts the internal environment. This is functional fitness for your biology. Small changes that preserve mobility, balance, and energy over time without extreme restriction. What's powerful about these first 3 levers is how they work together. Fiber feeds the right bacteria. Fermented foods help restore them. And reducing processed inputs removes constant irritation. This combination begins to quiet the hidden program we talked about earlier. But diet alone doesn't finish the job. The gut also responds to signals far beyond food. Signals coming from the nervous system, movement patterns, and sleep cycles. And that's where the next 3 strategies come into play. The fourth lever surprises many people: stress management. Chronic stress isn't just a mental burden, it's a biological signal that reshapes the gut. Elevated stress hormones alter gut permeability, disrupt microbial balance, and amplify inflammation. Over time, this undermines healthy aging more than most diets ever will. Simple practices like slow breathing, short daily walks, or 10 minutes of mindfulness aren't soft habits. They're biological inputs that protect longevity, mobility, and long-term independence. The fifth lever is regular physical activity. Not extreme workouts, but consistent movement that supports functional fitness. Exercise increases microbial diversity and improves how the gut communicates with the immune system. Walking, resistance training, light interval cycling, or balance-focused routines all send powerful signals. Strength after 50 isn't about punishment. It's about cooperation. A body that moves regularly creates an internal environment that favors repair, resilience, and quality of life. Sleep is the sixth lever, and often the most neglected. During deep sleep, the gut lining repairs itself, inflammation markers drop, and immune regulation improves. Poor sleep keeps the hidden program switched on. Simple changes, consistent bedtimes, limiting screens at night, keeping the room cool and dark, can meaningfully improve health span. Sleep isn't passive. It's active maintenance for aging well. When stress, movement, and sleep align, the gut receives a clear message. It's safe to heal, not defend. These signals compound over time, reinforcing the dietary strategies discussed earlier. Together, they form a system, not a checklist. And once this system is in place, the conversation naturally shifts forward. Because if lifestyle can shape biology this powerfully, it raises an obvious question. What does the future of preventive medicine add to this picture? Once you understand that the gut responds to signals, the future of preventive medicine starts to make sense. Instead of waiting for disease to appear, research is increasingly focused on shaping the internal environment before problems take root. This shift aligns perfectly with longevity and health span goals. preserving function, mobility, and independence rather than reacting late. The gut is no longer seen as passive. It's becoming a strategic target for healthy aging. One area gaining attention is fecal microbiota transplantation, or FMT. While it may sound uncomfortable, the concept is simple: restoring microbial diversity by introducing a healthy ecosystem. Today, it's used in very specific medical contexts, not as a general longevity tool. That distinction matters. Evidence-based health demands caution. But the underlying insight is powerful. Changing the microbiome can meaningfully alter inflammation and immune behavior when done responsibly. Another promising direction involves next-generation probiotics. Unlike generic supplements, these strains are being studied for targeted effects, reducing inflammation, strengthening the gut barrier, and supporting metabolic health. Paired with personalized nutrition, they point toward a future where diet isn't just healthy, but tailored to support aging well. Imagine knowing which foods help your microbiome thrive instead of guessing. That's not science fiction. It's emerging reality. Still, here's the grounding truth. No future therapy replaces fundamentals. Advanced tools amplify results only when the foundation is strong. That's why biohacking, when done lightly and educationally, must sit on top of sleep, movement, nutrition, and stress regulation. The most powerful medicine remains daily behavior. And this perspective leads to an even more practical question. How do you turn all this knowledge into a system that actually fits real life? Here's a perspective shift most people never consider. The gut isn't just responding to what you eat, it's responding to how you live. Every day, your routine sends signals that shape inflammation, repair, and resilience. Skipping meals, rushing through food, sitting for hours, sleeping poorly, these aren't neutral choices. Over time, they train the gut to operate in survival mode. Aging well begins when daily decisions align with how biology actually works. This is where many people overcomplicate longevity. They chase supplements, protocols, and trends while ignoring structure. Simple anchors matter more. Eating at consistent times, walking after meals, lifting light resistance a few times a week, and protecting sleep like it's non-negotiable. These habits stabilize blood sugar, support microbial diversity, and reinforce functional fitness. It's not about intensity. It's about sending calm, repeatable signals that support health span and independence. One practical way to think about this is through non-negotiables, not goals, systems. For example, a protein and fiber-forward breakfast, a 10-minute walk after your largest meal, and a fixed bedtime window. These small structures compound. Many people who struggle with low energy or stiffness aren't broken, they're inconsistent. This mindset shift is something explored deeply in frameworks like the longevity protocol, where complex science gets translated into routines that real people can actually follow. When the gut senses predictability, it relaxes. Inflammation quiets, repair becomes more efficient. Strength after 50 becomes easier to maintain, mobility feels less fragile, and balance improves almost as a side effect. This is how quality of life is preserved, not through extremes, but through alignment. And once you see the gut as a daily decision engine, the bigger picture comes into focus. Because this isn't about youth. It's about something far more valuable. Now here's the real question. What are you going to do with what you just learned? Because understanding the hidden gut program isn't about collecting information, it's about changing trajectory. Your gut isn't a passive organ waiting for age to take over. It's a daily decision maker, constantly responding to how you eat, move, sleep, and manage stress. When you shift those signals, you're not chasing youth. You're protecting independence, mobility, balance, and quality of life. This is where healthy aging becomes personal. Small choices compound. A fiber-rich meal instead of another processed snack. A short walk after dinner instead of staying seated. Prioritizing sleep like it actually matters, because it does. None of this is extreme. None of it is hype, but together, these decisions quietly shape your health span and reduce the biological chaos that accelerates aging and disease risk. So ask yourself this: are your daily habits reinforcing decline or resilience? If this video shifted how you think about longevity, then don't stop here. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we break down evidence-based ways to age better, with strength after 50, functional fitness, and real-world independence at the center of it all. And one more thing, gut health is only part of the equation. If you're dealing with low energy and you've been told it's just aging, you need to watch the next video on your screen. Low energy isn't just aging. 5 mitochondria fixes that changed everything. Because even with a healthier gut, your cells still need energy to perform. That video shows exactly how to restore it. Remember this and carry it with you. Your goal isn't youth, it's independence.